Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna meet all the participants, and we can slowly start because we have already 11 waiting. So basically, the quorum is there. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Well, welcome. Do you hear us correctly? Just some technical test.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you, Susan, for the feedback. I see some participants are joining, and I see that they're connecting now. So we're gonna start shortly. Okay. I see that there are some people trying to join, connecting still. So maybe we're gonna wait one minute more, and then gonna start in 3 minutes from now. Lucy, can you put an eye on the waiting room and allow people as they join, please?
Yes, sure.
So I see 2 participants still trying to join. So is maybe the problem with connection or. Okay, I think that we are good. Judith, if you want, I can hand over to you and for the opening introduction. Thank you very much. Do everyone see the screen? Everything is fine in terms of audio? I still see two participants connecting with audio, so we have still a little bit of problem from the Caribbean, but let's start.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judith Pessehaye, and I'm the head of the SheTrades initiative at the International Trade Center. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the SheTrades Hubs virtual gathering on digitalization, harnessing digital for efficiency, scale, and value. Let me start by thanking the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the UK government for its support to the SheTrades Commonwealth program and to this event. FCDO has been a long-term partner to the ITC SheTrades initiative and to women economic empowerment. Digitalization is rapidly changing global trade. Micro, small, and medium enterprises worldwide increasingly rely on digital channels to make sales, reduce operational costs, reach out to new customers and business partners, and develop or adapt to new business models. Digital trade and e-commerce enable MSMEs to trade international and to contribute to the economic empowerment of women. Of the estimated 2.7 billion people currently unconnected, the majority are women. The digital gender gap continues to expand in many developing countries, creating a specific need to support digital gender equality. Our e-commerce survey showed that the share of women-led businesses is significantly higher in e-commerce than in traditional trade. Digital has the potential to be a powerful tool to empower women entrepreneurship and promote gender equality. However, women still face many challenges to take full advantages of the opportunity that digitalization offers. Business support organizations have a crucial role to play to help women narrow the digital divide and provide tailored services for women to thrive in the digital economy. The SheTrades Hubs virtual gathering today aims to facilitate a collaborative dialogue to share best practices and lessons learned among the institutions hosting the SheTrades Hubs. This 3-day virtual gathering will look at the state of play of the digital gender divide, the role of the SheTrades Hub in fostering women digital entrepreneurship, and the spectrum of ITC and partners digital solutions. As institutions hosting the SheTrades Hubs, you have important opportunities to help women to unleash their market strength in the digital economy, including to others building their skills to access digital solutions for business efficiency and exploring new market opportunities. For this program, I would like to thank all the speakers from the various institutions for their availability and time to contribute to today's discussion. UNCTAD E-Trade for Women Initiative, ITU, Quick Cash, Women in Digital, Absa Bank Kenya, Procomer, and our ITC colleagues. Together with my colleagues in the SheTrades team, I look forward to collaborate with the host institution of the SheTrades Hubs in supporting women-led businesses to ensure that no woman is left behind in the rapid digital transformation. I thank you all for joining us today, and I wish a productive and enjoyable discussion in the next 3 days. Thanks, Andrea and Lucy. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for this introduction. Welcome to everybody from all parts of the world. Actually, today we have several countries joining in this meeting. We have Argentina, Bangladesh, Barbados, Dominican Republic, Gambia, Indonesia, Jamaica, Kenya. 2 organizations from Kenya, actually, Nigeria, the Philippines, South Africa, and Trinidad and Tobago. So those are the SheTrades app that have registered, but probably we will have more apps joining. So if you are there, please make a sign. And if there are new other countries that are joining today with us, please let us know. It's highly, as you can see, international. We have people joining from all parts of the world. As Judith has introduced, this event is really dedicated to the SheTrades apps in the countries, right? We really make this event to this SheTrades app that are decentralized platform to which SheTrades actually intervene in different countries. So it's the SheTrades app are institutions that are demonstrating high level of performance, but also a high level of commitment to the gender balance initiatives that SheTrades is developing all around the world. So let me share my screen quickly to actually go through a little bit what is the program of this day. I see that also other speakers are joining. Hi Nina, welcome. I know you've been traveling last night, so thank you for being here with us today. Let me give you a little bit of an overview of the next 3 sessions. I wouldn't call it the next 3 days because it's really 2 hours each day, but still the next 3 sessions that we're going to stay together. So today really is the state of play of the gender digital divide, right? We're going to look at the way the world world actually also, and the pandemic has shaped. I think that it took a big crisis like the one that the pandemic brought, during the past couple of years, to see that the world is divided between the digital have and the digital have not, right? And women and girls are actually a big part of of the have not, unfortunately. And if you layer that with with poverty and bad economic condition, and this is gotten even worse. Basically, the pandemic has moved a lot of the businesses and the industry online, and today not being part of this digital transformation and is actually something that is it's very severe for everyone, but in particular for disadvantaged group, as can be youth and young women, girls, and women, of course. But what is digital? Obviously, our impact, our focus today is going to be trade. Okay, the ITC vision is trade impact for good, and actually SheTrades program makes it this for good elements very prominent in the work that we do as an organization. But I think that digital is more than that, right? Is not only the trade, but it's everything that comes before trade. Is about teleworking, is about education, is about access to financial information and financial services, is about also health and many others industry that have said, as I said before, they moved online, right? So during this first day, we're really going to look with the state of play of the gender divide. We're going to do it with several organizations, so it's we can consider this as a multi-agency initiative, because we will have today we will have the ITC as organizer, but we also have the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and also we have ITU, International Telecommunication Unit, and this makes it a very rich discussion today. Today we will going to analyze the factors and obstacles that women and actually have in order to succeed to the digital economy. So it's going to be really on the policy side. Tomorrow, actually going to go deeper in the role of business support organization in fostering women digital entrepreneurship. It's going to be a deep dive in the solutions provided by BSOs around the world, aiming at narrowing the gender divide. So let's talk about what are BSO. BSO are business support organization. You know all of that, but for those who are not acquainted with this with jargon, for those of you is a business support organization. We identify 19 types. So business support organization is any public or private institution that support in a way or another businesses. And in particular, myself and Lucy Deborn here with me today, we are part of the institution and ecosystem section that in ITC takes care about strengthening business support organization under several aspects. And we will have a session dedicated to that on the third day, where we're going to talk about the spectrum of ITC digital solution. Okay, so basically the third day is going to be about dedicated mostly to the ITC solution to narrowing this digital gap. So today we're going to have, as we say, two main sessions. The first one is the UNCTAD E-Trade for Women initiative, this is going to be animated by Nina Angelovska. Nina is a PhD, president of the Macedonian E-Commerce Association Advocacy, former Minister of Finance and the Republic of North Macedonia, and also is a E-Trade women advocate at United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and much more. Actually, I read your let's say bio, and I was very impressed by the many things that you have accomplished in this and also in other fields. In this session, we're going to have the pleasure to have Viridiana Garcia Quilles, who is Program Management Officer at Trade at the E-Trade for Women initiative at UNCTAD. Viridiana is going to talk about the latest initiative that UNCTAD has launched. I think it was last December, in fostering women entrepreneurship in the digital economy. And then we're going to have a little bit of question and answer. so we would like the SheTrades apps to really intervene in this session. And the second part of the morning, we're going to have Loli Gaetan joining us from ITU. Loli is not only the representative of ITU on Equals Global Partnership today, but is also a former colleague and an excellent professional. And I really welcome this cross-fertilization between ITC and ITU. And as you see, this comes back. So Loli is a program officer in Digital Networks and Society Division in ITU. So this is going to be the second part of the day. But without further ado, I would like to hand over to Nina Angelovska for her presentation about let me share your presentation. Nina, you can unmute yourself, and very welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I think that Viri will take over with the presentation, the first part, to share more about the initiative, and then we will have a talk on the report and the challenges and opportunities and recommendations for how to have more women entrepreneurs.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Nina. Welcome, Viridiana, and over to you.
Thank you, Andrea, and very nice to see so many different representatives from different corners of the world this morning. I myself am joining you from Geneva, and I am in charge of managing the E-Trade for Women initiative, which is an initiative that was launched by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in 2019. Andrea, would it be possible to share the presentation, please? So the idea today is really to give you a very quick introduction to what this initiative is about, and then we will discuss more. We will have a more substantive discussion with Nina, and I will be very happy to introduce you to our first publication, which covers some of the main challenges that women face in the digital economy and identify some potential actionable measures that could help us address these challenges. So next slide, please. Okay, so introducing the initiative and then the conversation. Next slide, please. All right, so E-Trade for Women was launched in 2019, like I mentioned, and the idea is really to support more women in the digital economy, and we focus on women entrepreneurs. And our ultimate goal is to build a more gender-inclusive digital ecosystem. Our vision is that we believe that women and digital entrepreneurs in developing countries can be a force for inclusive wealth creation and development. So our mission is to support these women entrepreneurs who are using digital technologies, so mostly who are active in e-commerce, who have founded e-commerce businesses selling online, who also have maybe fintech or education platforms, etc. We support them to thrive as business leaders, but also to emerge as an influential voice in the public policy discussion, because we believe that the rules and the policies that are in place need to also address the needs of women. Next slide, please. So very quickly, how do we do this? Basically, we have 4 main action lines. 1, we inspire. 2nd, we empower. 3rd, we connect. And 4th, we give a voice. So how do we inspire? We realize that there are very few role models out there. So we need to bring more of these women up front and inspire the next generation. And you will hear a bit more about that in a minute. Then empowering. Basically, we provide knowledge and support to women digital entrepreneurs who are developing their businesses. Often entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. And as many of you, we try to support these women in succeeding in overcoming the different obstacles as an entrepreneur. Third, we connect. Women are very lonely in the digital space. They are also lonely as any entrepreneur starting and growing a business. So what we provide is also a safe space where women digital entrepreneurs from many different countries of the world can connect, can share experiences, interact with peers, potentially also identify business opportunities. And that's also a community that we are growing of women digital entrepreneurs. And I'll show you a map in the next slide, and you will see that it's all over, and some of you might even maybe know some of our members. And the last part, as I mentioned earlier, is that we want to give a voice. We need to leverage the presence of women entrepreneurs in decision-making processes. This is the only way we can ensure that the policy and regulatory environment is more inclusive for women. Next slide, please. So this is a snapshot of where we have been building our activities over the past 3 years now. So we have a presence in different continents: Latin America, Africa, both Francophone and English speaking, in the Balkans, thanks to Nina, and also in Southeast Asia. So we are supporting over 220 women-owned businesses in 45 countries. We are building the networks I was mentioning when we connect these women, offering a network with a possibility to connect with peers and benefit from support. And right now we are running 6 of these communities in 6 regional communities. And so far we have organized 10 masterclasses. These are the empowerment events that we run, both in person or online, where we train women and help them to overcome obstacles and believe in themselves. Next slide, please. So how do we inspire? I mentioned earlier that inspiring is one of our key action lines. Well, basically, we have identified few very advanced women in the digital space. They are out there. Sometimes they don't benefit from the visibility they would deserve. We provide them with this visibility and will help them become more vocal and have a platform where they can advise policymakers, where they can share their experiences and change a bit the narrative, change perceptions about women in the digital space. So the advocates, that's how we call them, are a small group of very influential women leaders in the digital sectors. They are nominated by the United Nations, so this is a specific role that they embody to defend the values, the mission of Trade for Women. How do they do that? Well, they engage in high impact activities. They bring the voice of women to the front, so they participate in high-level discussions with heads of states, government representatives, etc. But they also inspire the next generation. They organize the masterclasses or capacity building events with us to share their knowledge, to act as role models for these women who might be starting and that are at an earlier stage. Right now on the picture, you can see our current cohort, because an advocate can be an advocate for a maximum of 2 years. This is a pro bono role. And right now we have 5 women representing different regions of the world, one for the Arab states, one for English-speaking Africa, Damilola. The third one is Biram from Senegal for Francophone Africa. The fourth one is Lenise from Indonesia. And the last one is Pierangela, currently based in Ecuador. So they help us in our mission. Next slide, please. Thank you. So after engaging so actively with these different business leaders, the advocates, we decided it was time to try and collect all the information, all the knowledge, the extensive knowledge that they have built throughout their entrepreneurial journey. So we worked very closely with our advocates from the first cohort, so 2019-2021, to prepare a publication that could help identify the key obstacles that women have faced in the digital economy, but also try to build some recommendations on key actions that could be taken to support more women to succeed, because it is possible to succeed. And we have done this in partnership with Nina Angelovska, who you have just seen online and whom I'm really happy to welcome today for this session. So we have published, I don't know if you can see it. Yes, no, with the filter, it doesn't work so much, but you have this publication. I can share later on in the chat or with Andrea the QR code. Next slide, please.
Great.
Okay, so Nina was the lead author of this report. Nina, as Andrea mentioned, she's a former Minister of Finance of North Macedonia. She's also, and most of all, the founder of Grouper.mk, which is an e-commerce company that really changed the whole ecosystem in North Macedonia, and I would say even in the Balkans, in the whole region. It was really a trailblazer in bringing digital tools and digital solutions to the markets, and it has influenced many, many retailers, many suppliers to also go online and start adopting digital tools. And Nina was part of our first cohort of advocates in 2019. And she has been very supportive of the program, but she's also very active in her region. And one of the key aspects of this work was that she launched a few years ago the e-commerce association of North Macedonia. This was a first in the region, and it has also inspired other companies to initiate similar associations in their own countries in the region. So I think we can start our conversation. Nina, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you for the kind words, Viri. A pleasure to be here all.
Thank you. Welcome, Nina. As the lead author of the report, could you maybe give us a quick hint of what is this report about? And then start entering right into the nitty-gritty and discuss some of the key challenges that you've been able to identify.
Yes, thank you very much one more time. It has been a pleasure to be part of E-Trade for Women since its establishment, and it gives me great pleasure to be here today to discuss this, I would say, very important report, because as you said, the report is basically not just a paper, but something that is trying to, in a very structured, easy to understand format, tackle not only the challenges that women face in one region or another, but these are basically global challenges that hinder women to succeed, to start their own business. And this is the challenges that I will tackle now, because we are right away going into the nitty-gritty, as you said, of the report, are actually based on secondary data on one hand, but most importantly are based on the very, let's say, extensive experiences of the advocates that were part of the E-Trade for Women initiative, the struggles that they have faced, how they have succeeded, what were the blockers for them. So basically, the first part that we are talking today is actually the challenges that hinder women. What are the challenges that the women across the globe are facing when they are trying to enter and become an entrepreneur in digital, let's say, because all these businesses, and in particular the E-Trade for Women, is gathering and trying to foster, as you explained, women entrepreneurs in digital. So as long as the number of women operating their own business is increasing globally, yet female entrepreneurs continue to face significant obstacles that stunt the growth of their business. It is what it is. I mean, this is the case, and that's why this report is not only saying what are the challenges, but also then goes to say, okay, so these are the recommendations, how to tackle this and how to improve faster. So now the challenges that hold women back in building and scaling digital businesses are multidimensional and diverse, as you know. They're related to gender bias. They, among others, they include strict social constraints, limited digital skills, lack of trust, unequal access to funding, and so on and so forth. So the numerous challenges basically face or limit the ability not only to start, but to grow the businesses as well. So in countries in all levels of economic development, a woman's personal preference is the key factor in determining whether she will seek out and engage in paid work. However, this preference is very important to note that is highly influenced by socioeconomic constraints and pressures to conform to traditional gender roles. And basically, this is what the society expects from women. So apart this challenge, for instance, because I said that this is based on insights from the talks with the advocates. For instance, one of the advocates, Clarisse, she's a successful digital entrepreneur from Rwanda. And she says that cultural norms are definitely on top of the list of constraints that hold women back. As I said, what the society expects, what the role of women is, how it is perceived in society. Then apart this challenge that is a top priority, another one is that the lack of opportunities to skills and the fear of discrimination, let's say, prevent many girls and women from using and creating digital tools and online content. This is basically also emphasized by one of the advocates, Helianti, who says that many women face psychological blockage regarding tech things. Then another very important constraint or challenge is the lack of female role models, especially in STEAM. This has been cited as a major factor in the low uptake of STEAM programs and courses that young girls undertake. So basically, this is also a very important challenge that needs to be tackled. Then in addition to this is that businesses and women are struggling to find or to access talents and a skilled workforce. This is I would say, a global problem of all businesses, but especially for women. Then interesting to note is that women on average also around 20% report a lower confidence than men in their capabilities to start a business. You know, there is a saying in this Forbes article that I wrote, the title was "Be competent like a woman and confident like a man," because usually women are less confident than men, even though many of them have the full skills of competencies. So connected to this is another challenge, which is although many women have followed this prescription to increase their confidence, to learn finance, to increase their pitching skills, they again struggle to access finance, regardless if it's in early stage capital or further as they develop their business to grow. So access to finance is very, very important. For instance, one of the advocates says that the banks are still reluctant to supporting e-commerce businesses, especially because of the not only women-led businesses, but also because of it's e-commerce, it's a new topic, and they do not fully understand the business or doesn't feel tangible to them to support it. Women are to finish all this round of challenges, women are less likely than men on the financing, because I think that it's very important, are less likely than men to report that they can access, so they don't believe even that they have access in financing needing to start a business in all countries except for United States, Mexico, Greece, and Indonesia, for instance. So there are some exceptions. However, the gap is estimated to be around a 30 billion gap in financing that exists for formal women-owned small businesses globally. So I would say that these like 6-7 challenges are on top of the list that needs to be tackled, and the report as it goes tries to relate to these challenges and then form recommendations on what can be done.
Thank you, Nina, for this first picture of what are the main difficult challenges that women face. But still, we had a group of very strong advocates joining us next to you. And I'm curious to see, where did you see the enablers? How did they manage to break the glass ceiling and succeed and become successful women digital entrepreneurs?
Yes, this is a very good point. You know, before starting this report and before discussing and having interviews with all these powerful and amazing ladies on their journeys, I didn't realize that there will be so much similarities on not only about the face challenges, but also on the enablers, what they perceive that was helpful for them, or let's say push them on this road, a successful entrepreneurial journey. So I would say that one of these very mutual that was almost for all was having the support from family, especially from their mothers, who most of the advocates said that their mothers were their mentors. So this is in this context, we can conclude that family and home education and encouragement and the environment where they grew was very important for their path further on. Then interesting that is also mutual for all is that most of them started their business with bootstrapping, which conforms with the findings that women are more reliant to self-financing, and almost all of them have started their businesses like this. For instance, Clarissa said that I started bootstrapping and I struggled a lot to find this kind of funding, and that she had to be very creative and innovative. And this was the same. I related to this story of hers as well, because I similarly started the business by getting a grant and participating in a competition. So this was also something that is similar to other women, because some of them got some support from the environment, from government. Some of them got some support from friends, family, bootstrapping. Some won the competition. So this is interesting. And another mutual thing is that they all say to have very strong networks, that this people that they have met, that they know that these reliable, relatable role models and networks have contributed to the business success and growth for all of them. So basically being surrounded by strong women has helped them on the way. And in turn, all advocates are eager and want to inspire and encourage and empower other women on their path, which is, I guess, very important, because it's on one hand one of the challenges, and on the other hand, it's actually one of the enablers that practically they're practicing. Additionally, as I said, the competitions was a joint thing that for all, because they all took part in something before embarking on their journey.
Okay, so some positive notes as well, and things that we can also support ourselves at eTrade for Women, but also here the hubs that are joining us today online, and I'm sure some of them might also have stories and can react later to share with us in the Q&A session. Now I'd like to go and talk a bit more about your own experience. So after founding your company, co-founding your company Grouper, you realized that there was a need to organize collectively, and you started the e-commerce association. Could you tell us a bit more about that? What led you to create this association, and what have you been able to achieve thanks to that?
Yes, so basically I think that the key is to try to see the obstacles as challenges and to turn them basically into opportunities. So when I launched Grouper, as you mentioned in the introduction, in 2011, basically there was no e-commerce. People were not using cards. Businesses did not have online presence. Less than 1% of the population was estimated in Macedonia to be buying online. So if we took a look on paper, basically there were no business case. But we were enthusiastic and believed that we will transform and change the e-commerce market. And as you can imagine, when you start the business in a new one is developing economy, and the other is a sector that is not developed at all, is of course expected that there will be many challenges and blockers on the way, not only from the perspective of gender, but also in general, whoever would start in a new field would face all these challenges. And we were overcoming these challenges one by one, and so on and so forth. And among these challenges, there were many related to the regulation and to the legal framework for e-commerce. And I would go to meetings in the ministries. I would try to lobby to change some of these things, because there were many nonsense when you start the business. Usually the business push governments to change and to create an enabling environment. So in one of these meetings that I had in the Ministry of Information Society, I said, we need to do this and this. I read the law and the EU directives of how it is in Europe. I compared with the region, and we need to amend this. And then the minister, I remember, said that, yes, okay, I understand, but you need to represent the sector because you're now coming as Nina from Grouper, so we cannot make a change for one company. And I said, okay, how much time do I have to establish this association? I didn't know anything about NGOs or how to run an NGO. And he said, look, well, it's not just like that. You need to attract members. You need to collect a group. And I said, yes, okay. When I do this, I'll come back. And it took us a few months to establish. So this is what the motivation means. And when you see a problem as a challenge, you try to solve it and to tackle it. So I learned a lot on this way. It was a pleasure for me to participate. Actually, this was very helpful that I participated in the e-commerce week that was organized by the United Nations Trade Conference on Trade and Development. And this is where I met your chief of Thornburg. And he connected me to the Swiss association. And this is where I learned a lot on how they are doing, how they're running, what are the revenue streams, how can we make it self-sustainable, and so on and so forth. And the association was established in 2017. So now it's 5 years. Bojana from our association is on this call today as well with us. So the team is very passionate and enthusiastic about eliminating the barriers basically for the whole e-commerce industry in North Macedonia. But what is very important is, as you said, we inspired also other associations whom I also met at Geneva at the e-commerce week. This was the Serbian and Croatian. And for instance, there we met and we talked, and after a year, the Serbian association was established. I participated in their launch event, and I helped them a bit with how to, because we were a bit more experienced. And today we have over 100 members companies. We're working on various projects that are supported by USA, GIZ, various organizations. But very importantly, we are not now only focusing on North Macedonia, but we are basically now working on e-commerce for all project, which is for cross-border e-commerce in Western Balkans. So we breathe the market, basically. We know what are the challenges and we tackle them. So this is, I think, a story on how these challenges from a business perspective can inspire maybe somebody else to, get their hands tie the, what was the English word, when you say like, I'm gonna run this marathon and I'm always prepared for new challenges, for new blockers on the way. But at the end of the day, I always say that I'm grateful for this journey, because all these challenges have made me more knowledgeable and more stronger for the future. So whatever challenge comes, we will be more ready if we have the mindset. I think that this is the thing that needs to be solved.
Thanks a lot, Nina. It's really interesting to hear from your experience, not just as the entrepreneur, but also somebody who is trying to influence the ecosystem and bring others on board. So I hope this is also inspiring our audience today. We have 3 minutes left before opening to Q&A, and I wanted to quickly go over maybe 1 or 2 measures, 1 or 2 policy recommendations that you have identified together with the advocates when you were preparing the report. Could you maybe mention 1 or 2 that you believe could make a big difference?
So there are in general 6 policy recommendations, and these were jointly made thanks to the advocates, but also thanks to you for all the assistance and support during the preparation of the report. So there, anybody who is interested can read these 6, let's say, policy recommendations, and then there are also some initiatives that the E-Trade for Women maybe will undertake that are based on these 6 policy recommendations. So if I have to choose 2 out of this in the interest of time, I would say one of them is definitely role models. So using successful role models to encourage and motivate girls and women. Why? Because this was one of the, why I'm choosing this out of 6, because on one hand, this is one of the mutual things that enabled all these advocates to succeed and to be where they are. And on the other hand, it's also mapped as one of the key challenges that women don't have many successful role models that they can relate to. And these role models are sometimes from our surrounding, from our network. Doesn't have to be some stars, superstars in the sector or very famous. It's rather having an enabling environment, having somebody to be inspired, to increase the confidence, and to know that if they want and if they set their mind to, they can succeed. And this is done by encouraging more role models. And then one more that is also driven by this. For a second, I would say that we need to improve women entrepreneurs' ability to access to finance. So this is very important. On one hand, the soft side would be for women to increase their confidence and pitching skills and confidence to seek for finance. But this is not enough if we don't have on the other side the access to finance that will be equal to women. The perception and stereotypes are also present here. And if we want to see more women entrepreneurs, to unlock the potential for economic growth, we definitely as one of the advocates say, we need money to grow. We need access to finance to grow our businesses, because you can start with bootstrapping with some small support, but in order to grow and go big, let's say, and say the sky is the limit, there should be equal access to finance for women. So in the report, there are some concrete, let's say, more guidance on how this can be achieved. But as I said, in the interest of time, I would finish here.
Thank you, Nina. And Andrea kindly told me that we could take a few more minutes before opening to the Q&A. I know that you have to leave on time because you have other commitments afterwards, but maybe just to start also opening the discussion with our participants today, what would be your key message to our audience? I mean, today we are gathered with institutions that support women all over the world, women entrepreneurs. What do you think is key when supporting women entrepreneurs in developing countries?
Well, as you said, because the audience is pretty diverse, I think that one key message would be that definitely a diverse and holistic approach is needed, followed by not only diverse and holistic approach, but followed by proper implementation. Because quite often we have some ideas, but if we don't put it with proper implementation and following and KPIs, they would maybe fail to deliver on the desired results. And the desired result, of course, is to create an enabling environment for accelerated development of women entrepreneurs in the digital economy globally. So I think that we mentioned many of these, let's say, policy recommendations and what should be done. And if we manage to at least realize a few of them, or at least design some actionable steps to tackle a few of these challenges, that would mean that tomorrow we will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow we will be better than today. So I think that we all need to believe that this holistic approach doesn't mean that we have to wait for something big to be assembled, but we need to believe that every one of us, regardless on individual, institutional, business level, if they first of all are aware that where the situation is, that we are not in a very, let's say, desired speed of development. This is the first thing, to be aware. And then the second is, what can I do about it? What can we do? What can my institution, what can my government, what can my business do for this? And papers like this are very, very important, because they are not this 200 pages report, but they are very concise on let's try to tackle these things. Let's see what are the best practices, what works in other countries, what has given results, and let's apply it in other societies and economies and see the results. So I think that maybe some of these measures and best practices will prove successful for many regions. Maybe some will be trial and error, but as long as we do something and we take small steps, I think that only then we can see results. And at least we have the mutual vision, I guess, with the SDG goals, that we all want to live in a more equal world. We all believe that having more women in leadership, in digital entrepreneurship, in top management will definitely drive better and more sustainable growth of our countries.
Thank you very much for these encouraging words. And I would say we still have a lot of work to do, but it is feasible. So thanks a lot. Andrea, can I give you the floor to see if there are any questions from participants?
Sure. Thank you, Liliana. Thank you, Nina. I will be very very happy to have some questions from the SheTrades Hubs. Nina, as you know, the SheTrades Hubs are a business support organization, our organization like the Macedonian E-Trade Association, and I was fascinating really about the fact that you started from scratch a work that is quite complex in the sense that you started from scratch an institution without having really necessarily the understanding on what it took entail in to establish that kind of organization. I just have one question regarding that, and I'd like you to enlighten me on that aspect. You said that establishing the association was for you an opening door, especially for the lobbying and advocacy part, right? You needed to really find this power, you needed to find this backing from the industry so that you could start proving your government that this was the right thing to do and the right direction to take. However, aside from this business lobbying and advocacy function, what has been from your point of view, an interesting, also other interesting axis, of activity that this association has developed, and how have the companies benefited from that beyond the lobbying and advocacy, really on the day-to-day management, on the really practical side?
Yes, thank you very much, Andra, for the question, and I'm well acquainted with SheTrades, and congrats on the great work that you are also doing. What I forgot also to mention is that this let's say drive for change that made me establish the association. I was also inspired by the E-Trade for Women. So under the association, we launched less than a year ago our Gender Equality Alliance, which is tackling gender equality in the workplace. So maybe we can also find some common ground for cooperation with the SheTrade for future, just food for thought for this discussion. And for the except for lobbying, I think that what we are doing and what is basically the normal way is identifying the barriers and the challenges. And then when we do our action plan for next year in the association, we basically focus on a few priority areas that we will gonna address with initiatives and projects. So we are publishing each year the e-commerce report, which is an analysis for Macedonia, but also comparing to the region and the EU countries. And here we are mapping the key challenges. So for instance, one of the challenges that we have tackled with our initiative is the lack of, let's say, digital skills and the lack of skilled workforce. So we are designing programs that increase digital skills of our members and companies. And we do this by the support of various donor organizations. So we develop curricula, we are holding these trainings for companies. Depending on the need, we are tailoring to the most demanded skills on the market, let's say to upskill current employees, but also to find new employees. So for instance, this is one of the challenges. Another, let's say, challenge was the gray economy from the unregistered entities. And for this, for instance, we developed the badge for verified e-commerce shops. And we have verified around less than 100 e-shops that have this badge that signify, on one hand, the security, and that's a verified company. And on the other hand, we also have this registry for all e-commerce shops that we developed in cooperation with the 5 banks. So we're doing really a lot. Apart this, our trademark or flagship event is the e-commerce conference, which we are organizing each year for 5 years in a row. We have over 500 participants every year, and we are basically gathering the whole industry of the whole sectors to discuss on e-commerce on that day, to map the barriers, to see the progress, how do we, to define the way forward, let's say. And I think that this is very important also for networking, but also for role modeling, because there are companies and people can see what are the tactics, how others have succeeded. And networking is very important that we mentioned. They're building strong relationships. So these are some of the initiatives. On one hand, tomorrow, for instance, we have a cooperation first time now, because we are cooperating for 5 years with MasterCard, who supported our initiation. Now we have a support from, for instance, from Visa. Tomorrow we are organizing a launch event where we will support the opening of 15 new e-shops on the market. So we gather call for applications and we support with grants these companies to start their businesses. We also did a lot with the Gender Equality Alliance, and we are trying here. Actually, this report has been a basis for the Gender Equality Alliance, and we tried to tackle the stereotypes first during our first few months. So we developed a creative campaign that went viral for people to see how we are. On one hand, how we are behaving with our own children at home, and on the other hand, how we are behaving with our colleagues if they're a female, for instance. So we're really doing a lot, I think, for the Macedonian e-commerce, and now even more with adding the gender aspect in the workplace. But what is most important, as I said, I think you and all other business support organizations are following this path, is we see the challenges, we form concrete actions, we create the plan, then the plan goes to assembly, is approved, and then comes the hard work or the implementation, because as I said, the idea without execution is nothing.
Thank you very much. That's really showing the leadership also and the governance that you have set up for make this organization work. I would really like to invite the hubs to intervene. Please feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask a question to Nina. Otherwise, I go ahead because I have so many questions for her, because it really acts in our territory somehow, in the sense that we support business organizations. So it's very important, it's very interesting for us to understand how that works. So I don't know if there are apps lined up. Otherwise, I go with another question regarding, you've said something very important and very key for all businesses, women-owned or just general businesses, access to finance. And when we go into access to finance, what happens is that basically the lack of collateral that comes with the online businesses, especially in the incipient phase, actually is the main one of the main barriers, right? What is to you? I mean, if you have to tell one of the most successful initiatives that you have actually developed in order to breach that bottleneck and provide access to finance, beyond the funding from donors, etc., but really on the market, let's say, without specific incentives.
Well, Andrea, to be honest, because we basically are mapping the challenges that there are on the e-commerce aspect, not necessarily related to entrepreneurs and access to finance. We are connecting let's say the interested parties with others where we think that there can be a match for investment. But in general, I would say that the initiatives that we did that have something to do with this are not so much related to this challenge that women face with access to finance, because on Gender Equality Alliance was formed only in May. So we were focused on creating awareness, on tackling the cultural norms and stereotypes. We will have one new campaign in March, traditional, that we are preparing and working on. But maybe more closely to this would be that we organized a sort of student hackathon where we awarded with some cash awards and support from the Association for Implementation on the students that were working to develop solutions on how to tackle the gray economy. So they developed certain tools, and then the winning tools that were judged in this competition were awarded with some, let's say, symbolic cash prizes to develop these solutions. And I think that this is contributing on a bigger scale. On one hand, they are increasing their confidence. Pitching skills, the teams were mixed of course, women and girls and boys, or female and male students actually. And this is on one hand increasing skills, because there were many mentors in this hackathon program. They're having sense with the business sector during studies. They might be encouraged to start something, because this is actually how I started myself with a small grant from a competition. And this was one of there are in the report, for instance, 5 let's say initiatives on women, e-trade for women, what that can be done, including an academy for women, including competitions and challenges. So this can be one of those, including encouraging role models. So I believe that maybe some of this initiative will be maybe best practice that others can follow and implement in their own regions.
That's great. Thank you very much. I don't know if the hubs were actually scared about intervening today, because actually it's quite impressive what you have achieved. I know that you have to leave quite soon, and I'd like to ask, if there are any questions from the hubs to actually for you. So please take advantage of this opportunity. even though you are UNCTAD advocate, so we can always somehow reach you. However, what you said in terms of sharing the good practices, if you agree, as you know, at ITC we function as platform already. SheTrades Hubs are platform in the country, but at global level we actually have several platforms like the SheTrades platform that we present on day 3, but also ITC benchmarking for trade, that is a platform that we actually use to improve the performance of business support organization. And within that platform we have a library where we actually can showcase best practices. If you agree, we would be really happy to feature your case and how you could bring the organization to life, and what has been the effect of the work of this association. So maybe Lucy, you can just drop the itcbenchmarking.org in the chat so that participants can access it. And well, I think that we can bring you up. I know that you have to go. And thank you so much for being here with us. And your schedule is quite dense. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you very much, Andrea. It was a pleasure, and thanks for moderating. Of course, as you mentioned, Andrea, if there are any questions, maybe through video or directly to me, somebody can ask, because unfortunately I would have stayed to follow more of the contents of the conference. I think the gathering, actually, the agenda is great, but unfortunately I have another meeting starting in a few minutes, so I'll have to jump.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Wish you a great and successful event. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Viridiana, I'm waiting for some maybe other questions that you on the Women E-Trade for All initiative. I have a question for you regarding the masterclass. We have discussed, you have mentioned a masterclass, and I'd like to know a little bit more. What is the, let's say, the content of that? What do you actually, what's the value proposition for the masterclass, and how can we join that?
Thanks, Andrea, for the interest. Indeed, the masterclasses are our capacity building events. So beyond the policy dialogue, the role modeling, we realize that women entrepreneurs need support. So we offer, together with the advocate for the region, we offer every year one masterclass per region. And this is an event that is open to women who have founded a digital business, e-commerce, fintech, edtech, agri-tech. They have to apply, and we invite them, usually between 20 to 30 of them, to join us for 4 days. And there we bring different content to the table. First, of course, there is the business-oriented sessions where we invite experts from the region, or sometimes from globally, to come and share during 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, maybe more, their tips, their practical knowledge to help these women grow and scale their business, their digital businesses. So that's the learning part. Then we also have, of course, thanks to the advocates, the inspirational part. So the advocate of the region comes and shares her experience, opens up, tells the war stories, the success stories. It's all about the journey. It's not so much about the success, it's how did they do it. So that's usually very well received by our participants. And then we also have the policy dimensions. Either we organize panel discussions, conversations, where we bring some of the women entrepreneurs to the table together with policymakers, and we discuss what is being done in the region in terms of action to support digital businesses, how can we do more for women. And usually this creates a connection, because these are two different words that don't necessarily speak to each other. We try to bring them together to have this discussion start, and usually we see some follow-up. And then we have the connecting dimension, where these women connect, do networking with each other. also with key stakeholders in the region, can be representative from big businesses in the region. I'm giving you an example. We were in Nigeria, Lagos in December for our masterclass for the Africa region. And we had representatives from Jumia who came to share and meet the participants. We had a few investors who came. The ladies were invited to pitch and present their companies. So we try to expand their network, because this is also something that women have more difficulties to do, grow their own network. So these are the 4 elements. We're working now on our next masterclass, which will be in Ecuador, in Quito, in April. We just now closed the call for applications. I may still have 1 or 2 seats available. So in case the hubs want to recommend a strong profile of woman digital entrepreneur, I'm happy to connect. We have to do this quick, but I could extend for a few days the call for application. And
so this next masterclass, sorry, Viviana, is face-to-face, basically.
It will be face-to-face. It covers, so we open the applications to women entrepreneurs from the entire region, from Latin America and the Caribbean.
Okay.
So far, I have around 20 women who have been selected. We received over 100 applications. We selected a bit more than 20. I could still accommodate 1 or 2 if they're good profiles. So happy to connect in case some of the hubs want to recommend someone. I'm happy to open. And yes, then we will probably the next one will be then for Asia, in Southeast Asia mostly, in July. We will open soon the call for applications.
Okay, good. And if we want to, if some of the apps like to join that, maybe you want to send the link, or we can just browse www.etradeforall.org/ET for women. Let me share that.
Thank you.
So those are the contacts, or there is a specific website?
Yes, and on the website, you can find the information about the upcoming masterclass, especially for Latin America. I haven't published yet the information about Asia, but it will come soon. And we're happy to collaborate also. So the next for Asia will be in Malaysia. So in case you have hubs present there, we're happy to connect.
Absolutely, we do.
And we could organize joint sessions or explore how we could collaborate around this, because we rely also on the knowledge of people on the ground who know well the SMEs, digital SMEs on the ground. So happy to open that door too. And just for people to know, ITC and UNCTAD are sister organizations. So we're used to working together, and this could be really valuable, I think.
Well, thank you very much. That's, as I said at the beginning, this is an interagency, let's say, workshop. So basically, as ITC, UNCTAD, ITU, we are all part of ITC Equal, that the initiative that we're going to present shortly. And definitely, we do have apps in the different countries that you have mentioned, and we'll be happy to directly inform them and motivate them to attend, because those, I mean, at least. Disseminate the information among their entrepreneurs so that they can join that. Great. Thank you very much, Viviana. Thanks for having mediate the presence of Nina. It was really interesting and for me very enriching. I hope that we can, as I said before, gathering those best practices in terms of how institutions can make a difference and to kickstart the growth of a sector, of an industry in countries. I think it's a very interesting topic for us. As I said before, we really support institution. I see that there is Annette that has raised a hand. Please, Annette, you can unmute yourself, and if you can also, if you have enough bandwidth, you can also switch on your camera, and we'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrea. This is Annette, ITC SheTrades Hub representative in Rwanda. Oh, thank you so much. I would like to thank you all, and for the last presentation that has made. Maybe I'm very sorry I joined late somehow. I had some problems in my network, but maybe I didn't had a lot of what my colleague, the one who left in the meeting, what she said. But for the Rihanna said about the master class. So I wanted to ask her. Maybe if I take an example of Nigeria, she said that they did that in Nigeria. So how was it? Maybe for the challenges, because we are interested in that for the Rwanda Hub of our members. It is really very nice for the women entrepreneurs to have to attend this masterclass on e-trade. So how was it in Nigeria? Maybe if she can share some of the challenges that they met in Nigeria. Maybe I'm taking an example of Nigeria because it is an African country like us in Rwanda. So I wanted to hear from her. Thank you so much. Maybe you give me another time so that I can share about the hub in Rwanda, the SheTrades Hub in Rwanda that we are representing. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Sorry, just before handing over to Viviana, I just wanted to ask you: are you from the Rwanda Expo Development Board, or for any other association? For which other association?
From the specialized cluster that represents women entrepreneurs, youth, and people with disability.
Okay.
So we have those 3 groups that are under Rwanda Private Sector Federation. So it is a specialized cluster that combines those 3 groups of women entrepreneurs, youth, and people with disability in the Rwanda Private Sector Federation. So we are private sector federation.
Okay, great, thank you. It's just to make clear about what is your actually role and setup in the country.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay,
Viviana.
that's good.
Thanks.
Thank you, Annette, for the question and interest. So indeed, when we organized the masterclass for English-speaking Africa, we opened applications to a long list of countries. In the end, we had 25 women attending the masterclass from 8 countries of the region. So we had women coming from, of course, Nigeria, but also Uganda, Kenya, one from Rwanda, Tanzania. We covered 8 countries. What we offer is that we at UNCTAD, we help these women travel so that they don't have to pay for the cost of travel, which would be a huge barrier to them. And then we worked very closely with our advocate for the region. So now it is Damilola Olukeshusi. She's the founder of SheTrades, a company based in Nigeria. So she helped us identify the right speakers who could come and share their knowledge with participants. She helped us mobilize experts, investors, etc., to create the activities. So of course, this is costly, so we cannot run several masterclasses in the same region every year. We have to spread across regions. But it was very successful. Really, we could see women gathering, sharing their experiences, sharing tips with each other, supporting each other. We worked a lot. It was very intense for them, the 4 days in Lagos. But you could really see the power of putting women entrepreneurs in the same room to work together and learn and connect. So what I wanted to say is that I'm not sure yet when we will run the next masterclass for the region. The next one in Africa will be for Francophone Africa. We could potentially open to Rwanda as well, because some Rwandan entrepreneurs are Francophone. But what I would suggest is that you take a look at the website we shared, Lucy kindly shared in the chat, because for women in the region, we have communities. So after people attend the masterclass, we don't let them go. We invite them to join our network, the communities, so that they can stay in touch, they can continue to support each other, etc. And we have now a very strong community in the region. I would say we have about 50 women who are actively connecting and sharing experiences, etc. We organize regularly activities for them, workshops, peer learning, depends. We have different sorts of activities which we run both online and in person. And I think maybe some of your members in the federation could be interested. We have one criteria is you need to be the founder of a digital business, e-commerce, fintech, and tech. So this is what we ask to be able to join the communities, and people can apply online on our website on the communities page. Then we review their profile. We can even have a quick interview, quick encounter, and then they're invited to join. So if you think this could be of interest to some of your members, please encourage you to take a look at our website, the communities page. There is a link to apply. It's very simple to fill, sharing a few information about the profile of the person. They can apply directly, and then we will review and invite them to join if their profile meets our requirements. So please don't hesitate. We've had a great advocate from Rwanda, Clarisse Iribagiza. So we have presence there, and we know that Rwanda is very active in the digital space. So happy to welcome some more women entrepreneurs from your country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Annette. Thank you very much, Viridiana, for your intervention. So now we actually go back to our program. We are a little bit beyond. We ran a little bit beyond time, but I don't see it as a problem. The next, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you see that. So the next speaker is Loli Gaetan. As I said before, Loli is a former colleague, is now program officer at the Digital Networks and Society Division in ITU. Welcome, Loli. Actually, Loli actually is the representative at ITU and also coordinates the the global partnership that bridge gender divide. It's an initiative that brings together over 100 partners that are co-founded by several organizations such as the International Telecommunication Union, of course, the International Trade Center, the UN Women, GSMA, UN University. It's a global partnership that brings together international organizations, industry and government, civil society, research institutions, mobilizing movement to change and deliver practical integration solution at scale. So thank you very much for joining us today, Loli. I'm going to hand over to you for introducing yourself and also to, and I meanwhile share your presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So thanks again for the invitation. As Andrea said, so I feel like in my second home when I'm with ITC, because I used to work for ITC for a couple of years, now working for Equals, in particular ITU, in the digital inclusion thematic priority and the digital society and network division. So let me just go a little bit about what is Equals, the goals, and the impact on the ground, and as well a little bit to let you know how the gender gap, especially in access, skills, and leadership, is moving into a positive way. So maybe we can just share the first slide, Andrea. Thank you so much.
Sure. Go. So I'm happy that you're bringing some good news, apparently. So, so let me know when you see the screen, and let me know also when you want me to go to the next.
Maybe we can go to the next slide. Thank you.
Thanks. Wait.
So just maybe to give you a little bit of overview of ITU. So ITU is the International Telecommunication Union. It's the oldest agency of the UN system. And speaking, I heard my colleagues before from UNCTAD and also ITC about the breaking the glass ceiling for women. So this year, for the first time in history of ITU, 157 years, we have a Secretary General that is a woman. So our Secretary General is Doreen Bogdan Martin. This really she really broke the glass ceiling for many of us that work in the IT sector. And with those good news, I want also to share a little bit of data on access and how women are using the internet along the years, but also per region. So the first graph that you see here is showing the women using the internet. As you see, we are really increasing the number of women that is using internet. And as you see, from 2020 to 2022, there is a rapid increase. And this is most of the times like experts, in particular people from a statistics office in ITU, they say that it was really the COVID that accelerated this access to the internet. Then if we go and see at the regional level, the news are partially good. So the high income countries, they have more balance in terms of access to the broadband and to ICTs. Upper middle income as well countries, but it's not the same in low income countries and low middle income countries. In terms of regional disaggregation, in Europe and Americas, they are the more equal when it comes to access the internet and use the internet. Unfortunately, there is still a long way to go when it comes to Africa, some regions in Africa, and also Asia. And because when we speak about use and access to the internet, we are not only speaking about getting the iPhone, the phone or the smartphone, or getting to the computer and access the computer. It's also getting access to internet, which is meaningful. You're connecting in a meaningful way. And in some parts of the world, we still have connectivity, which is 2G, 3G, and the meaningful connectivity is translated into 4G. So half of the world still is not meaningfully connected. So maybe we can pass to the next slide, Andrea, thanks. Okay, so here we see Y equals. So after different discussions in ITU with the members of ITU, ITU has member states, and it's very special agency because we also have other type of members, which are private sector and academia. So we have 1,000 between private sector and academia members, plus the 195 member states. So when it comes to gender, the different discussions that happen in ITU and the different statutory meetings is that there was a need to close the gender digital divide, and they identified 4 main areas of action to close this gap. And why gender digital equality is important, because we know that if we think about the Sustainable Development Goals, gender is cross-cutting in this specific area. So if we have gender equality, we can have more educated population. We also are linked with the part of digital innovation ecosystems. And of course, we cannot do this alone, because that's why Equals is a global partnership. So we work as a partnership in every activity or every project that we have. Next slide, please. So again, so why we need to close the gender digital divide? We know that after COVID, especially now, we see how the new jobs of the future might require some digital skills. Internet has a lot of opportunities, learning and training opportunities, and many are still left behind on this. Many countries, information, so it's full of information and timely information. Services, more and more governments are moving towards digital e-government or digital services of governments or e-governments. And the voice, we want more women in particular and more youth especially to participate and express in a safety manner as well in digital platforms. Next slide, please. So this is why, next please. This is why Equals was created back in 2016. Initially as a global advocacy platform. The idea, okay, next please. Thank you. So
it's
as
okay
a global,
here, sorry. It's okay
sorry?
here? It's okay this one?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, sorry.
So Equals was created in 2016, as I was mentioning before, as a global network, advocacy network. It's a multi-stakeholder partnership. So we have other UN organizations such as ITC. We also have private sector, NGOs. We work with large NGOs, but also we work with the grassroots and local NGOs, and academia. So we have a dedicated group of research institutions that represents the different regions in the world. So as of now, we have 107 partners exactly. And I think I have my colleague here, Lena from ITU, that will be sharing some links in the chat for your information. The main goal since 2016 was to bridge the gender digital divide. So sharing information, best practices, an advocacy platform for coordinated work. But what happened when advocacy is very consolidated? So after 2-3 years, we saw that there was a strong potential to strengthen in-country work, providing visibility to partners, but also working with local organizations. And this is what I'm going to explain a little bit more later. Next slide, please. So here we see a little bit what we call the 4 areas of action of Equal. So we work for access, skills, leadership, and research. Each area has dedicated members and is led by one partner of Equals. I'm not sure, I think I forgot to mention, but Equals was co-founded by 5 organizations. It's a public-private, if you want, partnership, because 4 organizations are from the UN system, and 1 organization is the private sector, which is the Global Association of Mobile Operators, GSMA. And the other 4 organizations, so UN Women, UN University, ITU, and ITC. We have a global reach when it comes to advocacy, but with the impact at the local level. So we are covering through different projects, countries and all the regions. So in Africa, for example, we have some activities in Burundi, Kenya, and Ethiopia. In Asia, we have in Pakistan, in India, in Afghanistan, Nepal, Philippines, in Latam and the Caribbean as well. So we work a lot in the Caribbean countries, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, in Colombia and Brazil, and in Europe, also in the Balkans and Eastern Europe. When I speak about these countries, it means that we have different specific activities that are some related to access, some others related to skills, other related to leadership, and other related to research. Because each region in the world, when it comes to digital, has specific elements. So we cannot treat all the regions the same. So each region has specificities that we need to take into consideration when we want to implement specific interventions. So there are 3 main ITU projects that are the first phase of these projects are until this year. And these projects focus on capacity building for girls and women, so digital skills. I believe some of the colleagues already speak about a bit on digital skills and mentioned the importance of that, and digital policy development, so mainstreaming gender. As of now, in terms of digital skills, we have trained and mentoring over 60,000 women and girls through the different interventions of the partners. We can pass to the next slide, please. Okay, and this is just a snapshot, very quick, about the different interventions and the different activities I was mentioning in the countries. So the first one is at the global level and advocacy, let's say, level, we have the Equals in Tech Awards. These are the awards that we give to organizations at the grassroots level. We want to make visible these organizations each year. And so the first picture you see there is one of our winners. She is Silvina Moschini from Argentina. She is the first digital entrepreneur that founded the first, it's called Pink Unicorn in Latin America. Then you see some of the sign. This is the sign of Equal. So each time we have an activity, we try to keep this sign alive, and it really has spread very well through the different activities and the different events that we have. We have a key role as Equals, but also as ITU, in the Commission on the Status of Women. This is an event that happens each year in New York. And this year is a very special year for us because the topic is going to be technology and innovation for the advancement of women and girls. So I really invite you, all of you, if you are hoping to connect or if you are going to be in New York, to join our events. Lena will share with you some of the links of our events in the chat. But we also, as presented before, we work a lot on research. Since we have this rich multi-stakeholder partnership, so we work with other organizations to create knowledge that is really like key and it's valuable, especially for policymakers when it comes to shaping policies in their countries. So we have one that it's on leadership. It's called Perceptions of Power, championing female leaderships in technology. We also had the latest report was on sex disaggregated data in Africa. This was with Data2X, Research Africa. And you can find also all this is like publicly available. So you can have a look to these different publications online. Let's say the flagship report that Equals has as a partnership was published in 2019. It's called Taking Stock, and it's really a very good comprehensive publication where you will find the status of the gender digital divide in access, in skills, in leadership and research. And there are some of the interventions with this in Burundi with policymakers, but also with girls in the rural area. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I wanted to kind of showcase like in particular two projects that are kind of at the heart of Equals. The first one is this one is called Equals Her Digital Skills Initiative. This initiative has three main components. We are delivering some workshops, hands-on workshops on technology. We have an mentoring program, and we have a self-paced learning component, which are the Equals badges. Next slide, please. This specific initiative is for young girls because what we have seen is that it is very important that we invest in girls and young women because they are going to be the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. So we need to give them the specific digital skills that they need in order to really, after some years or right after this, join the digital economy and benefit of the digital economy. So the HDS workshops, as I was mentioning, is a basic introduction of different education in ICTs. So we have a wide range of trainings from web development to introduction to e-commerce to AI, digital marketing. And these are workshops that usually last 2 days maximum. Then the girls that attend these workshops, they go into an e-mentoring program, the ones that want to continue this process. This e-mentoring program, we connect these girls with women in established tech and mobile industries through our partners of Equals. And this e-mentoring program is for 8 weeks. I heard before as well the colleagues of UNCTAD speaking about the importance of kind of soft skills, to increase confidence of the young women, but also the women entrepreneurs. So this is a way we are starting this process of building the confidence of the young girls. And then we have the Equals badges, which is self-learning program. This is basically, the initial one is foundational digital skills. So we have 8 different courses that the girls or the young women, they need to go through in order to receive their certificate. Next slide, please. So as this initiative started in 2022, and as of now, we have benefited more than 6,000 participants in 35 countries, in the 5 continents, and we have specifically 5 Equals partners involved. These are just some of the results, and maybe we can go to the next slide. Yeah, thank you. So here is like a snapshot a little bit on the results of this initiative and the impact. So most of mentors, for example, they are very satisfied with their mentees and the mentoring program overall. Same with the mentees. 94% of our participants, they understand the STEAM, what is the STEAM careers and the STEAM pathways. So we are trying to boost their confidence to join these different career paths. And next slide, I think there is a very quick video of 1 minute, 30 seconds. If we can just play it, thank you. I think we cannot hear.
Excuse me, could you hear the sound or not?
No.
Okay, so I have to share sound. Let me know if you hear it.
During the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet almost half of the world's population remains offline, while 90% of future jobs will require digital skills. And currently, less than 20% of tech jobs are held by women. These shortfalls give rise to gender workforce gaps and generate technologies that fail to meet the needs of women and girls. To ensure equal opportunities to develop digital skills, the Equals Global Partnership aims to create an unstoppable movement where women and girls are equal partners in the digital technology revolution and can benefit from job opportunities through a new initiative to boost her digital skills. The platform includes 3 complementary components. The Her Digital Skills Workshops, introducing technical knowledge and education needed for careers in technology. The Equals Badge Program, offering free digital skills training and certification to boost women's chances of pursuing their goals. The E-Mentoring Program, connecting companies from among the tech and mobile industries with emerging talent to increase interest, involvement and awareness to reduce the tech gender gap. Since its launch, the workshops and e-mentoring program have benefited thousands of girls and young women in 30 countries across 4 continents, with 95% of participants improving their knowledge of science, technology, engineering and mathematics career paths, and their confidence to pursue tech training and careers.
I think that there is a little bit of buffering time. Sorry for that. Looks like it doesn't.
Thank you, Andrea. I think it's okay. Maybe we can share in the chat as well the link.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
Yeah.
because it looks like it's a little bit slow at the moment.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Today,
Okay, so this is.
Can I
yes,
ask you something on the
Yeah.
her digital skill? I read correctly that you actually engage women from 10 to 25 years old. I mean, really at
16 to 25, yeah.
16. Okay,
Yes.
16. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. I just wanted to.
No, that's fine. So this is just an example of one of our initiatives when it comes to digital skills for young women and girls, and also when it comes to digital skills that are technical, meaning that we really want to show the different career paths in technology. But now, and I think we are showing now, you are seeing like one slide, which is another project when it comes to leadership. We want to get more women in senior management positions in technology companies, and we want to have more women, all our activities are to have more women as creators of technology, so women entrepreneurs in technology. But we have also identified that women entrepreneurs in any sector of the economy and in any value chain, they also need a specific or what we call now sectorial digital skills. And this is why we created this project in collaboration with the Enhanced Integrated Framework, that it's a multi-stakeholder partnership as well, working in less developed countries. And we are implementing a project on digital skills in Burundi, Ethiopia, and Haiti for women entrepreneurs. but the women entrepreneurs are not in technology. So the women entrepreneurs that we have in Haiti, for example, are the fashion industry. The women entrepreneurs we have in Ethiopia are from fashion industry as well. In Burundi, we are working with women women farmers, women in the agricultural sector, and we are giving them specific sectorial digital skills, depending on the level of their businesses, but also the sector, the economic sector in where they are. This project, it's been 2 years. This year is the last year of the project, and we work with, of course, with the digital ecosystem in each of the countries, and we try to show these results of what we are doing at the policy level as well, as our let's say a constituency of ITU are the ministries of ICTs. Let's say the beauty of this project is that we are really bringing together ministries of ICTs, ministries of trade, and ministries of women in each country to discuss the specific needs of women entrepreneurs when it comes to digital. And I think next slide, please. These are some of the pictures as well of our work in Burundi. And I have a very short video as well. I don't know if it's gonna work, Andrea, but if you are able to share that, would be great. Thank you.
I hope, should it go? No.
I think it's in a link I share with Lucy, maybe.
You want to share the link in the chat, maybe?
Okay, yeah, I can share.
It's equalsintech.org.
So you are able to share, Andrea?
Sorry, I thought you were. No, you didn't see. I was already sharing, so sorry for that. Can you now hear and see?
Le commerce électronique nous aura utilisé dans la vision de publier ou d'utiliser sur Internet pour publier les produits transformés que nous voulons à commercer, que ce soit à l'étranger, ainsi de suite.
J'aimerais faire beaucoup de projets en rapport avec le commerce électronique en base de produits. Ce sera important pour moi et pour mes camarades et encore pour les filles surtout, parce que les garçons peuvent faire et nous même les filles, nous pouvons le faire.
this time it worked well.
Thank you, Andrea.
The video as well. Very nice.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And with that, I conclude the presentation. And maybe also in the chat, I'm not sure if my colleague Lena can share, but since we have the SheTrades Hubs here, for sure, if you have women in cybersecurity, women entrepreneurs in cybersecurity, we have a special program for them in ITU, which is called Women in Cyber Mentorship Programming, where we provide hard skills in cybersecurity, but also soft skills. So maybe we actually are planning the next cohort of this program, and we can share the link here in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. See that the link was shared now. I'd like to, we don't have so much time left, but I'd like to open the floor for questions. I see that there is a first question from Annette. Annette, please go ahead. And
yes, thank you so much, Andrea. I think you can hear me all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we cannot see you, but we can hear you. So
oh,
no problem.
Okay. Now you can see me and you can hear me then. Okay. Thank you so much, Andrea. I'd like to thank Rory for her presentation. They are doing really a very nice job to women entrepreneurs. So I was just wondering how do they maintain this if they are training maybe women on how to use e-trade, these online things in their businesses? How is it being maintained, and how is it maybe for sustainable in their future? Do they only use it for once, or they continue? How do you monitor this for them not to forget? Maybe I'm asking this because we usually train our members, but for them not to forget, and for the sustainability thing, what we do, we get those who have been understood well, and we get them also to train their fellow entrepreneurs. So how do you maintain this? How do you monitor this? Maybe for them to not just stop it on when you have already trained them, but for sustainability, and continue to help them in their businesses. Thank you so much. But I really appreciate your approach. It's really very nice to the women entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annette, for the question. Yes, absolutely. App sustainability is really key in any project, in particular with this on digital and access to ICTs and internet. So as we work very close with the Ministry of ICTs in general, so we have a focal point, but we also have 2 or 3 institutions on the ground that we are working with. These institutions on the ground, they should be part of Equals. So we always, when we have any project, we try to leverage from the Equals partners. In the case of Burundi, for example, we work closely with an institution, an agri-tech school. We work with the Ministry of ICTs, with the Ministry of Trade, and we work as well with the University of Burundi. So after we do our training, it's true that some of the, in particular girls, they don't have everyday access to ICTs or to the internet. So what we do is partner with these organizations so they can offer access to these ICTs and to the internet to these women that are in the surrounding areas, as you saw from for example, from the video in Burundi. So that's one of the elements that we provide. And the second element is, of course, once we implement any activity in any territory, we have the commitment, not only for the duration of the project, but also afterwards from the Ministry of ICTs. So we work really hand by hand with them. Actually, I'm sure you know, we have a project as well in Rwanda. Is the GIGA project with UNICEF and connectivity of the schools. So this is like let's say the benefit or the positive side of ITU when working with the Ministry of ICTs. And as you say, like it's very interesting the way that others, once you train one person or one woman or one man, so they can replicate this knowledge to others in the community. This is true. We do have equals champions. We call them equals champions. And they are basically girls or young women or women entrepreneurs that are part of our projects and activities. And they need to kind of give back to the community after being trained and being part of our programs. But yeah, thanks, Annie.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for the question, Anne. Thanks, Loli. Are there any other questions about the initiatives? Does any other? I see that there is someone also, Fatou. Please, Fatou, feel free to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. If you can switch on the camera, even better. But
hello, good morning and good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We do.
My internet is not so great. You can?
We can hear you. No problem.
Okay. My name is Fatou Mbenga Jallo. I work for the International Trade Center in the Gambia field office and also provide support to the SheTrades Hub in the Gambia. Thank you so much, Loli, for that presentation. It's very insightful. I just wanted to ask, in terms of partnerships and collaboration for the initiatives you have highlighted, are these unsolicited, or is it, do you open them up for countries or entities to apply to partner with you, or how does it work? Because I see some very interesting elements in terms of what really is needed in country. And we also, I mean, for the ITC in the Gambia, work very closely with the internet, the Association of IT companies in the Gambia. So I just wanted to ask in terms of, you know, how one goes about really leveraging on these opportunities. Thank you, Anova.
Thank you, Fatou. Yeah, that's a very good question. So the first, let's say, criteria to be part of these projects is to be part of Equal. So ideally, any project that we are bringing, we try to leverage through the Equals partners. So we have governments that are part of Equals, and actually, for example, Ethiopia and Burundi are governments that had a representative part of Equals since a long time ago. And then, of course, when we had the opportunity to implement these projects, so we talk about the countries that were members of Equals. ITC is very special institution because ITC is one of the co-founders of Equals. So of course, we always try to collaborate as much as we can with ITC with the projects that you have in the different countries. So any resources that we have as part of Equals and from other partners of Equals that serve the purposes of ITC in any project that you have on the ground, we would be always happy to share and to see how we can coordinate implementation of that. So it's just a matter of internal coordination because actually I didn't mention, but ITC is seated as the chair of the steering committee of Equal. So really has like a critical role when it comes to any activity that Equals wants to implement. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, that's clear.
Thank you very much, Fatou, for your questions. Thank you, Loli. Are there any other questions in line? I don't see any hands up, but let me know. If that is not the case, I would like to thank you very much, Loli, for this very insightful presentation. For sure, we have to. You know, this initiative is it's really a joint activity. Of course, I mean, ITU has a huge role to play, but as ITC also and SheTrades initiative in particular, we are also contributing to this. We will be seeing in the upcoming session, especially after tomorrow, some of the initiatives that are actually included in the Equal Global Partnerships, and you will be able to learn more also on our ITC contribution in those programs. So equals. Thanks a lot. I like your, your trademark. So thanks a lot for being with us today, and it's been very, very, very interesting and insightful. Thank you for all of you that. Okay, sorry. There is a question from SheTrades Caribbean. So I will retain you for a moment more. What are some of the most effective ways that ITU program engaged the women to participate in the program? Curious as well about the use of technology in these engagement efforts. So SheTrades Caribbean Hub. I mean, if you want, you can also unmute yourself. I see that there is another questions. I don't know if Helen, please feel free to unmute Helen if you have a question. I don't know if it's a legacy hand or if you would like to intervene.
Thank you, Andrea. Yes, I had shared my question to you. I think I'm not able to share to everyone. So my question is to Laurie, if we would want to partner with yourselves just to train our women in Kenya. I'm from Absa Bank, sorry, my name is Ellen Makandi. I'm from Absa Bank, Kenya. And we normally do a lot of capacity building for our women entrepreneurs, and this really would interest us. I don't know if we could get you contact so that we can take this offline and see how we can partner to bring that on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Helen is actually one of our speakers for the tomorrow's session. So thank you, Helen, for sure. We're gonna make the bridge, but I have this SheTrades Caribbean. Kayan, would you like to unmute yourself and ask the question directly?
Sure, thank you, Andrea, and thanks, Lolly. We are just in the operationalizing stages in the Caribbean Hub. So I'm curious and really impressed by your work, and just curious how you engaged the women to participate in the program. Thanks.
Thank you, Kayan, and thank you as well to Helen for the question. So yes, I'm sharing with my contact details with Andrea. So feel free, to send me an email. It would be great actually to connect Helen for Kenya, because we are soon launching a specific digital skills training for women entrepreneurs. So that would be a good opportunity to connect and see how we can roll out this in Kenya. And then for as well, Kayen, as ITU is a member-driven organization, each program or each activity we have that is led by ITU, we send through our ministries and through the private sector and academia that are members of ITU. So that they are the first kind of recipients of the opportunities, and they share in their countries or in their networks. But of course, we use the social media channels that I recommend you to follow. And then always feel free to send an email to me or my colleague Lena. We are there to share with you any potential opportunities for the region, because it's true that we work ITU has 6 main regions. We have regional offices, and we work very closely with them in how we disseminate information of our activities. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
Thanks a lot, Kayan, for your question. Thank you, Lolly. We're running very short on time, so I'd like to thank everyone, starting from UNCTAD, Viridiana, Nina, Lolly, and all the SheTrades Hubs that have intervened today. Thanks for being with us. A quick spotlight on tomorrow's session to get you excited by tomorrow's session. We will have several interventions around the role that business organization can play in fostering women digital entrepreneurship. Today we had already a good understanding of the importance of what is the role that institution can play. But tomorrow we're going to have another UNCTAD advocate, Patricia Zandiao, founder of Quick Cash Ivory Coast. So from our speakers from West Africa, then we're gonna move to Asia with Aki Anila, the CEO of Digital in Bangladesh. It's also an association that gathers women in digital. We're gonna have Helen Makandi from Kenya. So East Africa, we have heard from her before, and she's going to explain us what are the programs that AXA Bank has set up for narrowing the gap of women in digital. And then we're going to have an intervention from Central America. So Procomer Costa Rica is one of our stars, the BSOs in Central America. I'm not sure I think the speaker was going to be it has changed meanwhile, but the intervention for Procomer will be there for tomorrow. So thank you very much for everyone. Thanks for staying with us today, and have a lovely day, and see you tomorrow at 10. We will going to send you all the links and the information in the chat as well as in the email. And don't forget that after this event, we're gonna gather all the intervention and all this material into a booklet, and you also going to have the possibility to consult it as you go after the training. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely continuation of the day or of the evening, depending on your time zone. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.